So for any of you that know me personally, or ones that have been watching the channel for a while, you know that I am quite the frugal person, and I typically don't buy things full price. And unless you live under a rock, you know that this last week was Prime Day week. And not only that, not only does Amazon do these sales, now a lot of other companies have hopped on this bandwagon of doing the 2 days of sales in July, and I got a pretty good haul this year. So I quickly wanted to talk about what I picked up this year and how much I saved during these sales and how many things I got at an all-time low price. A lot of these are deals that I did post in my Discord as well. I have a channel just for deals that I post when I find things that are interesting. I don't know how many people actually use it, but if you do want to be notified of any cool deals, whether you're in the US or Canada, if you're in other countries, it's a little bit harder for me to find out. But other people are also welcome to post deals there as well. Feel free to check out the Discord, join up, have a little chat, and save some money. So these first 6 items are all ones that I bought from Amazon. Now, I was just recently in the US for a work trip, so I actually bought a few things in the US on Amazon US. And then I also got some in Canada, which is where I live. So the first thing I bought was this Crucial MX500 4TB drive. I talked about this in the Discord, and I've talked about this before, where SSD prices are absolutely plummeting, which is really great for the consumer. There's been no better time to upgrade your spinning disks or hard drives to SSDs, and that's my plan for this. Now, I bought this for $232.19 Canadian before tax. Regularly, it's around $300. It's actually currently on sale for $277, which is still not as low as it was on the Prime Day sales. This was an all-time low, and my overall plan for this drive is to actually move everything from the NVMe drive that I have in there currently. I have a 2TB NVMe drive that I currently use for a lot of games and stuff. I'm going to move all those over here, and then I'm going to be using that 2TB NVMe internally in my editing and gaming computer to then use as my new internal editing drive, just to speed things up and improve my workflow. Now, in relation to this, I actually picked up this Wavelink, I think that's how, or Wavlink, dual bay docking station. I've been meaning to pick up one of these for a while. Now, unfortunately, I did not get this at an all-time low sale, but I did get it for $35.19 pre-tax. It's normally around $40, so that's a decent sale of about, $5 or so. And this is going to come in very handy with this new drive, because now I can, I installed it. Actually, it's currently in my computer right now. I installed the 4TB drive, and I had to remove one of my other 2.5-inch SSDs. So now that 2.5-inch SSD is currently in this dock connected to my computer, and I'm going to be able to use that to copy whatever's on that drive onto my external, and then I can probably throw that 2.5-inch into my streaming computer. Now, the other really cool thing about this dock is that it allows for both connectivity to a computer, and you can use them like a dock. You can use it to clone disks and all that fun stuff, but you can also do offline cloning between 2 drives without even needing a computer, which is really, really cool. It is a little bit more limited, but it is nice that that is available as an option. And it's got USB 3.0, so data transfers up to 5 gigs. Currently, right now, the system that I have been using is a pretty janky setup where the drive is hanging out of the computer when I'm trying to transfer things from it. So this will make things a little bit more reasonable, safe, and I'll be getting a lot of use out of this. I wish the NVMe versions of these things were a lot more reasonable in terms of price. Once they do get down there, I will also pick one of those up, because currently I use an external enclosure to try to transfer things, and it's not great, so that would be nice as well. Now, in a few days, I'm actually going on a pretty long trip to Europe, and I bring a bunch of my camera gear, both my film camera and my digital camera, and I don't have a very good traveling camera bag that I could use. The camera bag that I do have doesn't really have a lot of space for anything else, basically. So I'm going to be using a hiking backpack, and I still want to protect my camera gear, so I picked up a camera cube, or a camera carrying case, from Newer. So I picked this up for about $25.61 US pre-tax. Regularly, it's about $33. And when you convert the savings on that, it's close to $10 Canadian, which is pretty nice. This was an all-time low, and this is going to be super great. These are panels that you're able to divide things for. I'm able to carry a couple of lenses, carry both cameras, and be able to keep them safe while I'm traveling around, which is monumental because I use this camera for all of my YouTube videos, and that film camera is very dear to me, even though I've only had it for a little while. I really do love it. Now, one of my biggest grabs of the week was actually this Garmin Vivo Active 4. I'm currently wearing it right now. If you've been watching the videos for a very long time, you'll know that I'm typically wearing a Fitbit, a little Charge 4. This thing is awesome. It did a really good job. It is slowly falling apart. I have put it through quite a bit, and I was hoping to have something with a little bit more functionality, but battery life is still really important to me. One of the biggest benefits of this thing was that it had incredible battery life. So I saw that the Garmin Vivo Active 4 was on sale, and I picked it up for about 170 US. Regularly, it's about 270 US, although right now it's on sale for $190 US, the biggest all-time low of the grouping. With the savings that I got and the conversion, it comes out to about $133 Canadian saved, which is amazing. As I mentioned, I'm also going to Europe in a couple days, and I'm going to get my money's worth with just walking around and keeping active with this thing. I was looking forward to having something that had a little bit more data in terms of activity tracking. I know that the Garmin isn't nearly as good for sleep tracking, which is what I really heavily use the Fitbit for. But I'm willing to give that up and give this thing a try. I do plan on possibly doing a video about the Vivo Active 4, maybe after a couple months, to give my opinion on it. If you're interested in that, leave a comment down in the comment section below. But yeah, this thing's got a ton of features. It's got a ton of sensors on it, and it's listed for about 8 days of battery life, depending on how you use it. As of right now, I'm getting about 6 to 7 days of battery life, but I have been playing around with it a lot, changing things around, and constantly having the watch face on. So that probably is hitting the battery a little bit more than usual. The last techie item I picked up are these XLR cables. If you watched last Saturday's video, I talked about how I'm now using the Rodecaster Pro 2 as my new mixer and audio interface. I'm really happy with it so far, and I'm enjoying it. And where I've placed it on my desk, I didn't need the extra length of the XLR cable I was previously using. It was about, I think it was a 15-foot cable, so very, very long. And I thought having a nice shorter cable would help reduce noise and all that kind of stuff, interference possibilities and all that kind of thing. So I decided to pick up some XLR cables, and I decided to try to add a little bit of color to it as well. So I got this color pack. I'm currently using the red one. And the nice thing is I have 4 inputs on this mixer. So when I have other people over, play games, if I ever have people over to just chat and talk about things, I'll have lots of cables to use. These are all 6-foot cables. There was a 6-pack of 6-foot cables, and I paid $32 for this. Normally, these are about $40. So after conversion, I saved just over $10. This was an all-time low, and I will be getting lots of use out of these. I don't really think I needed all 6, but that was the only way for me to get some colored cables at a reasonable price. And I mean, so far so good. Hopefully it sounds good, and I will find out while I'm editing this. A few small things that I also picked up. I got a nice little portable luggage scale because, again, I'm going on this trip, and it will be very handy to have a scale to be able to measure my suitcase and figure out how many things I have to move from the suitcase to my backpack in order to not get charged a lot of ridiculous money. I picked this thing up for about $15, $14.98 before tax. It's regularly about $20. This was also an all-time low, and with that I saved about $5. And another thing I picked up were these lens cap covers. Now, the overhead camera that I use for a lot of the overhead shots, the lens that's on there is going to be coming with me on my trip as well. And unfortunately, that Sony lens cap broke a long time ago. It's very, very finicky. I have to basically manually pull it open in order for it to hold on to the lens. I don't want to have to worry about that while I'm on my trip. So I picked up a pair of lens cap replacements. I picked those up for $10. They're normally $12, so I saved $2. These will actually last me quite a bit longer because the mechanism inside of them, instead of using the plastic as the spring, it actually has a dedicated spring inside. The thing that broke on the other lens cap was the plastic spring, so these should last me quite a bit longer. And the final thing I bought was not from Amazon Prime, but it was actually from Prime Cables, which is a really great cable providing company here up in Canada. The monitor mount that I'm using for my triple monitors right now is from them. The mount that I kind of built up behind my camera that holds my camera, my lights, and a bunch of things, also from them. And I picked up a triple monitor mount that is extra tall, about 39 inches tall. And the reason for this is I actually got a monitor that I'm going to be using as a fourth monitor. I know. That's going to be going above my main monitor. It's going to be for editing and stuff like that. I'm planning on doing a video about that when I get back from Europe. Very, very excited about it. It's been sitting back here, just kind of waiting to get used. This will allow me to mount it properly, mount it above my current monitor. Don't know exactly how I'm going to do it yet, but I will figure it out once I get this thing unboxed, once I get back from my trip, and we will go on that adventure together. So I picked this up for $44.99. It's typically about $54.99, so I've saved about $10 there. Now, when you look at the totals, I spent about $565 overall throughout the sale. Now, the SSD and the watch were a significant portion of this, but overall, I also saved $243. And if you look at it between regular and the sale prices, regular, I would have spent about $770. So I saved about 30% going down and picking up all these things on sale. Keep in mind that I will be getting a lot of use out of these as well. The watch is something I'm going to be wearing and using pretty much every day. The SSD is going to be my new gaming drive on my main computer. I've almost completely eliminated the use of spinning disks as main drives in that computer, which is really awesome. That hard drive dock is going to be extremely useful for me when doing videos. It's going to be very useful when I'm helping out other people, and I'm going to get a lot of use out of that thing as well. The other cool thing is that it acts just as a dock as well. So I can basically have 2 more drives plugged into that thing, plugged into my main computer, and I don't have to use more of my SATA space. They will run a little bit slower, but it will be very handy for backup storage, for example. The camera cube is going to be extremely handy on this trip, and I'll probably use it as my main camera storage instead of that backpack for a while. It's much more convenient, much easier to slip into another bag, and it allows me to use another bag as actual storage space for other things other than camera gear. Those XLR cables, am I going to use all 6 all the time? Probably not, but I will be using one at least almost every single day, so that's awesome. The luggage scale is not something I'll be using all too often, but on this trip, it'll be extremely handy, not only for me, but all my friends that are joining me. The lens cap cover is going to be extremely handy and actually protect my lens from getting scratched. So that's great if you want some crisp top-down footage. And hopefully that monitor mount works out very, very well for that monitor that I want to talk about in a few weeks. And that will be getting tons of use as well. With all that said, I do hope you found this video helpful, and if not, I hope you at least found it interesting. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you like, subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, leave those down in the comment section below. I'd also love to hear what kind of things you picked up on sale this week, whether it's from Amazon or another retailer. Let me know. I love sales. I love deals. So stuff like that in my comments would be very welcome. Big thanks to my patrons, Thoughts on and Step Back, and thank you for watching to the end of this video. If you do want to see one of my other videos where I talk about the ways that I find deals and ensure that I'm getting some of the best deals, you can check out this video right up here. As always, stay safe out there. I'll see you next Saturday.